So Lucas, once again we have to record a How Not to Do Business. And who are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about Surfshark.
Yeah! Fuck you, Surfshark. Definitely not getting a sponsor after this one. So anyone who's watched this channel before will know that I take a fairly hardline stance in regards to sponsors. Like, we don't normally have them. We had one recently as of recording this. A nice group of guys called Whisky Studios. I don't even remember the fucking name, I'm really bad. I'm sorry, guys. The deal we reached with them was quite, what's the word, like casual?
Yeah, it was,
a casual deal. Like, we played some Smash Bros. I mentioned their channel in a video. Like, a good time was had by all. And I'm aware that that's not something bigger, more established companies will want to do, but I've tried for a long time now to convince the more respectable, I guess, advertisers you've probably seen all over YouTube, such as Surfshark, who I've been in talks with on and off for about 2-3 months now, to just do a sponsor plug that's fun.
Yeah.
And in keeping with the tone of this channel, which has always, since the very first video, been framed as a conversation between two friends that happens to just go places. And I don't ever really want stuff in videos that breaks that up, which is why one of the number one things I have always told every sponsor who's reached out to us and then just stopped talking to us is, I don't want to do an ad read. Which leads us to the topic of today's video, which is Surfshark, although we're speaking generally about sponsors as a whole, because behind the scenes, there is a nice guy called Druv who works with Today I Found Out, who I was put in contact with, thanks to Dave and over at Today I Found Out, to maybe get some sponsors for the channel, because we don't have any. We don't earn as much money as we potentially could be doing from YouTube. Go see the previous How Not to Do Business for more information about that. And he reached out to me on behalf of Surfshark, who wanted us to record a plug. And Lucas, you know me, you know I'm not going to do an ad read. And you're the one who actually came up with the idea of play a sponsor at Smash Bros.
Yeah.
And Surfshark didn't want to go for that. They wanted a more traditional, just stand there for a minute and read out what we wrote. And I didn't like that. So what I did, completely against the advice of the person who I'll be paying to get us sponsors, is recorded a potential look at what sponsorship might look like, where me and Nisha just talked about sharks for 5 minutes.
It was great.
With their branding in the background, and then all the terms of the deal and the ad read they wanted me to read written below in the usual fact bars you would see in our videos. And I thought, that's an interesting way of doing this. Like, it doesn't break up the video, but they get a solid 5 minutes where their logo is on screen, and like all the stuff they want mentioned is at the bottom. And I thought, that's the perfect sponsorship, surely. It doesn't impede the flow of our videos, it doesn't piss off our audience, it's funny, it's unique, it's interesting, it might encourage our audience to check it out. Yeah?
I watched the video as well, and I personally thought, well, this is a lot better than just an ad read that I'm going to hit you 5 times a day and just completely ignore.
Or probably skip over as soon as you hear me start talking.
Exactly,
right? So that's what I do.
That's what I do.
On the rare occasion I watch a YouTube video that has like a sponsorship plug in it, I'll skip straight over it. Sorry, Today I Found Out. So it's the truth. Everyone does it. I'm sure the audience right now is just nodding along. Yeah, I do that. So I thought, let's at the very least incorporate it into the actual style of a channel so it feels interesting. And the potential sponsorship plug we record will be at the end of this video so people can see and judge for themselves. But I'll be honest, I did it partly to take the piss because I don't really care if we get sponsors, so I can have fun with it. You've been with the channel now for about a year, Lucas, and you've obviously known me for a lot longer than that. How just surprised are you at just how inflexible sponsors seem to be when it comes to stuff like this?
To me, it's really baffling because, as we both just pointed out, every single company wants to do ad reads in the exact same way, and all it means is it just becomes like a complete whitewash of shit I don't care about and I'll skip over.
Yeah. It's just white noise that people have learned to tune out, which is why on multiple different occasions I have suggested similar things to what I did with Surfshark. For example, I was reached out to by another company whose name I forget, but I do know they were also trying to sell VPNs. They asked me, again, do an ad read. And I said, I don't do ad reads, but how about instead at the end of the video, where we normally have like 3 or 4 minutes of riffing on a topic, you as a company go and research your favourite animal facts. Send them to me. I will seal the envelope. I'll open it at the end of the video and we'll read through and riff on them at the end while your branding's on screen. And I thought that, again, that's quite interesting. If I saw it in a video, at the very least, I'd be curious to see where it went.
Yeah.
And they said no. They didn't like that. They poo-pooed the idea of cool animal facts. And Lucas, before we move on to like what happened with that, like, thoughts on that idea? Because I thought it was quite good. I like that idea.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that idea to me. I was like, oh yeah, that's really cool, because that's the type of content that people watch Fat Fiend for anyway.
Yeah, and that's what I don't get. If you're going to sponsor the channel, surely you want to fit with the tone of the channel anyway. They said no to that idea and instead suggested, how about we send in a list of facts about the internet, because we're a VPN company and we can send in like, some interesting facts about that. And I went, okay, but remember, I'm not doing an ad read. Do not put in plugs for your own thing in these facts. This is supposed to be an extra thing with information for the audience, and your information will be behind me on the screen or in a fact bar below. I don't want to just stand there and proselytize for your company. You're paying for a sponsorship, not my endorsement. And if I read out your ad read as it's written, it sounds like I endorse what you're selling, and I don't, because I don't fucking use it. I've got my own shit. I was like, yeah. And what they did is like, oh yeah, that's fine. And said, here are 10 facts about the internet. And stuff like, oh, did you know upwards of 30% of people who use the internet get their information stolen, which you can avoid by using insert their shitty VPN. So it's like, oh, fuck off. I just want cool facts about animals. Is that so hard? And I'm sure my audience would want that too. As a viewer of YouTube, I would like much rather see the person in the video I'm watching, the personality that I click the video to see, have fun with it and talk about something that interests them, rather than just see their eyes glaze over for 2 minutes as they do an ad read.
Yeah, it's really weird, and I'm pretty sure as well, if I'm not wrong, the animal-based videos that we do on the channel perform really well.
They do, yeah, and it's more just everyone likes animals. I think it's an excuse for like stock images of cute animals behind us.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
And I'm baffled that every time a sponsor reaches out and I make one of these suggestions, I know it's off the wall, I know it's not what other YouTubers do, but it fits with the tone of the channel. And as evidenced by the one sponsor we have done and the very positive feedback we've got to that, it clearly works, and there's clearly a want and a need for sponsorship. That's not just I am sitting here and reading out ad copy for 60 seconds, because no fucker wants that. And the reason I wanted to talk about this, we weren't originally going to turn it into a how not to do business, but they sent me a message via the guy I have trying to secure sponsorship for the channel, and shout outs to him for taking on that impossible Herculean task, with some feedback about the video you, our audience, are about to see. And Lucas, would you like to just pick out some of the choice quotes from that for us?
Yeah, sure. And I mean, it starts with, the advertiser was pretty pissed with the sample.
Which I am so, they should be pissed. Like, you know what? The audience is pissed with how shitty your ad reads are. Make them better. Do you know what my favourite bit is as well? That I force the advertiser to watch 5 minutes of something they're not interested in. I wonder how that felt. And then, do you know what? I wonder if they got mad about that. I thought, well, this is not what we signed on to watch. It's like, yeah, think about how viewers of YouTube feel when your fucking ad read comes on. Anyway.
Exactly. And the weird thing is, they mention here, like, oh, there's a logo on top of the brand's logo and no mention of the VPN. Yeah. And it's like, I'm pretty sure the entire ad read was put on screen in the fat bar.
Yeah, it is. And what's really funny is we talk about how shit Surfshark's logo is because it doesn't have a shark in it.
Yeah.
So we put a shark on their logo and they're mad pissed that they replaced their logo, even though we joke about the fact they don't have a shark. Like, we're mentioning their company by name and we're being funny and we're riffing on it. Like we're ad-libbing and improvising, like a regular Fact Fiend video. And they were really mad about it, and I'm happy that they are.
But unfortunately, Karl, they don't have a sense of humour, apparently.
And I'd like to say, as a businessman, as the owner of Big Wangers Incorporated Limited, I have a sense of humour, and I would not want to work with a company who does not share my values. And Surfshark clearly do not share my values. But there's one choice quote that I feel like you're getting to now, Lucas, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's okay. They wouldn't pay more than $500 for something such appalling advert as they put it.
Yeah, so they said the advert is appalling. We wouldn't want that in a video, but then offered me $500, which means that they'd be happy to have it. They're just not going to pay me. I think they were offering like $2,000.
Yeah.
Which means that if every YouTuber out there took a similar stance to me and was like, okay, I'm not going to get paid a massive amount for doing the ad read, but if I can have fun with it and get paid less, companies would have to accept that, oh yeah, YouTubers just want to, you know, be themselves in these ad reads. And people wondering, is this a stealth ad for Surfshark? No, because Druv, on my behalf, turned that down. He's like, fucking yes, mate, that's what I'd have done too.
Oh god, I'm glad that he knows. Just, yeah, mate, I know that you tell them to fuck off, so I did it for you. Like, yeah.
Yeah, he turned it down for the insult of like the fact they call it appalling.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, this YouTuber whose video we're sponsored is being himself. That's appalling.
Like, they choose to sponsor your channel because, you know, they quote unquote always say like, we really enjoy your content.
That's what cracks me up, yeah.
And it's like, well, you clearly don't.
Every sponsor who's ever reached out said we really like your content, and then the moment I suggest something that would be in line with the content we produce, say, we wouldn't want that. You have to do the ad read and say, well, that's not in line. You don't like my content. It's so dumb. We're still looking for sponsors. We're happy to have them, but only if they're willing to work within our terms. I feel are quite fair and loose. I even offer to take less money for doing this, and they're like, nah, just do the ad read though. And I'm hoping like this can get some traction, and like our audience out there like will agree with me that I would much rather have a YouTuber stood there reading dumb animal facts provided by a company with like some branding in the background than I would a 90-second ad read. But we can talk about this till the cows come home, so I feel like we should bring it to a close and we should end on the quote-unquote appalling attempt at a sponsor spot we made for Surfshark, who can go and fuck themselves.
So today's video is sponsored, isn't it, Karl?
It is, yes, by a lovely company called Surfshark, who we'll talk about after the main body of the video. God, I hate when I advertise stuff. I sound like such a prick. Or more of a prick. And for you, Surfshark, and Druv, if you're watching this, I suppose, this is where the main body of the video would go. 8 to 10 minutes of riffing on an article I wrote either last week or last year. And this is where the ending would be, and this is where your sponsor plug will go.
So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, this video was sponsored today.
Yes, it was by a lovely company called Surfshark. And for our audience at home, before you click away, we don't do sponsors, same as other channels here on Fiend, because one, you'll notice there was no ad at the start of this video, because we only want you, our audience, to see one ad, and that is the company that sponsors us today. Also, when we're sponsored, I make sure everybody who works on the channel, even if they're not directly involved with the production of the individual episode, gets the bonus. So, thanks to Surfshark, everybody who works on the channel has got a little bonus this month. So thanks to Surfshark for that. Also, I don't do ad reads, so the ambassador's guide they sent me with all the information they want to talk about for this plug will be in a fact bar below as me and Nisha talk about something that's way cooler, and that is sharks. Because the company today is called Surfshark, and I'd never fucking heard of them, and until I looked them up before recording this video, saw their logo is just an S.
How is it not a shark?
A surfing shark. How is he not a surfing? And you know what it'd have to be as well? I'd want a clip art surfing shark.
Yes,
I wouldn't want it to look. I'd want like the clip art shark on a surfboard. Like make it look super like 90s and old school. So can we make that for the background?
Yeah, I just typed in Google surfing shark clip art, and this shark with like arms and legs on a surfboard turned up, and it was perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, so there we go, with a word art logo below for the word Surfshark. And Nisha, thoughts on sharks?
I used to think they were really scary, but now that I'm older, I think they're just misunderstood creatures.
A bonus fact about that. That bonus facts in our sponsorship segment. Look at that, even now I'm still entertaining and educating. The guy who wrote Jaws felt so bad about the bad reputation his book and the subsequent film made from it gave sharks. He dedicated his entire life to shark preservation. he felt so guilty on behalf of sharks. He's like, I've got to help the sharks, man. I'm so sad that sharks have got this bad rap because I made a book in which they murder people for no reason. It's like, maybe that's why, mate. Like, not only did he make going to the ocean terrifying, he made going to bed terrifying. Because when I was younger, I'm not sure if you had this, Nisha, after you watched Jaws for the first time. Did you think there was a shark at the bottom of your bed?
No, I never had that.
Oh, because this happened to me whenever I watched a scary movie as a kid. And I know it's stupid and it's irrational, but I would always in my head imagine, what about if there was a monster at the bottom of my bed? And it was always the stupidest when I watched Jaws of, what about if a shark gets me? It's like, a shark's never going to be in my bed. But in my child mind, it's like, but what if there is? What about if I I'm so blasé and casual about it and just put my feet to the bottom of the bed and then miraculously a shark appears? Who's going to be laughing then?
I know it's not shark related, but I used to think, like, what if my toys came alive, like in Toy Story?
Oh, man, that'd be terrifying.
Like, I always thought that was kind of creepy. Like, what if it was true?
What about if it was true? And what about if they got me?
Yeah, what if they turned evil?
Do you feel sorry for... I feel so sorry for that Sid character, because that kid's fucking traumatised.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
in
Didn't he get
therapy.
a job as a garbage man as well?
Yeah, that's the little Easter egg in Toy Story 3. But man, that kid is fucking traumatised in that, because imagine you're like 8, 9 years old, like he clearly doesn't have a good home life. Like, it's hinted at, like, he doesn't have a good home life. Like, at the very least, there's some neglect going on in, like, the Sid household. One of his toys says, "I'm going to fuck you up," and then turn into, like, plastic zombies and then just taunt him.
We toys can see everything. So play nice.
And then his own sister realises that he's scared and chases him around the house with a doll. Yeah, but the way I saw it broken down is, Sid doesn't know that toys are alive. All he's really doing is being creative. Like, he's using his own ingenuity to have fun with the broken toys that he has. It's clear, like, again, you can tell from the way his house, how shit his house looks. That family doesn't have a lot of money, so he probably has no choice but to make his own fun, which he does with, showing quite a remarkable mechanical aptitude for someone his age by making his own toys, and he's punished for that. And it's a really weird message of the Toy Story series and the franchise that, yeah, don't play with toys wrong. I remember when Toy Story 4 came out, and the whole point of Toy Story 4 is, anything could be a toy, make your own toys. Like, look at Forky. It's a toy made from a spork and some pipe cleaners, and that can be a toy. We reward creativity in this world, and then the Disney store sells pre-made Forky toys that you can't take apart.
That makes no sense.
It's like, what?
What is the point of that?
That goes against the entire ethos of the film. It's so dumb. Anyway, thanks to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. I hope you at home at least learned something either about sharks, Toy Story, or whatever the fuck that company does.